I move that we accept the change of the agenda. Did we, oh, did we?
Yeah,
already
we're
do
good.
that?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, great. Okay, item B, oh wait,
Yeah.
now we go
Yeah.
to public comment.
Oh,
No, minutes.
Oh, we're gonna do minutes first. Ah,
That's
gotcha.
okay.
Sorry. Okay, approval of minutes from May 6th.
I move that we approve the minutes from May 6th.
Second.
In favor?
Okay,
Okay.
okay, now there's Danielle.
Panelist. See the previous. Okay.
There's a box on my face.
Might put a box on my.
All right, so Danielle is present. Hi, Danielle.
Hi Danielle, there she is.
Hello. So we're gonna, hi, we can't hear you yet.
Do you see it?
Still muted. There she is.
Hi, so we're gonna do.
hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you. So we're gonna do a first round of public comment first, and then we'll continue on with the discussion items. Okay. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and Congressman Cochran,
I'm Nate Corman.
welcome.
Well,
Thank you.
So do you want to give us an intro of what you're proposing?
Sure. So back in March 2022, Lisa, Sue, and I realized that we all shared an interest and desire in trying to invite more people to know what Brisbane is, and that it's a beautiful city and people should come and explore it and see what's here. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, we were a little, after Bank of America left, we were a little, I'll speak for myself, I was a little dismayed by what was left there. You know, the metal sign is still there. It doesn't look particularly attractive. It's pointing in sort of a strange direction. And we thought that that place in particular would be great to have a welcome sign for, a sort of traditional welcome to Brisbane sign, much like you see around the Bay Area and around the country. For the next slide. Part of the context here for us is welcome signs, I think, in this country serve a pretty important purpose. They give a sense of the character. They're an opportunity for people to take photographs. They're an opportunity for cities to sort of express their identity in a way that reflects who they are and in some cases what values they stand for. You can often tell quite a bit from what a sign looks like as you're entering a place. Slide. So I mentioned, you know, for a while, the city, I think the front of the city was defined by the strip mall sign and Bank of America, which was always a little bit disappointing. And then when I'm speaking mostly for myself, others people I'm sure may share similar views, but this was sort of my sense. And then I know the city, I guess, bought the Bank of America building, which is great. And we think that with that, there's an opportunity to do something really nice there. Next slide. So every other city in the Bay Area has a sign. Pacifica has a sign, whether you come from the south, whether you come from the north, whether you come from the west, you always know you're entering there. Daly City has many signs. South San Francisco, as we know, has their name on a mountain right there. Now, people may not feel that the industrial city is the best branding in the world, but you can't go on 101 and not know about South San Francisco. It's indelible in people's minds. So we want to do this for Brisbane. Next slide. You know, we did a lot of walking around just to kind of scope what's going on. To be fair, there are a couple of signs out there that one could think are maybe welcome signs, but I'm gonna go so far as to say the map on the left isn't particularly attractive, nor is it particularly helpful, nor is it something that one walks by. There's not really parking spots there, and it's just not very navigable. The sign on the right is, and I'm sure when these were put in, the people had good intentions, but the sign on the right is very small, it's not visible, and it's quite run down. So from the perspective of really welcoming people into the city, these don't serve the right purpose. And furthermore, I'm thinking a lot about people driving on Bayshore Boulevard. And that's really where I think you'd want to let people know this is Brisbane. I'm surprised continually by how many people maybe have heard of Brisbane. Oftentimes they confuse it with Burlingame, but they've never been here. And people going up and down Bayshore Boulevard wouldn't necessarily be inspired by any curiosity to make a left or a right and see what's up there. Literally all that you'd see is the businesses in the strip mall, and that sign itself is not a great place. The next slide. When you think about Brisbane, I live on the Ridge. I'm on the Viewpoint HOA board. The developers, we feel, got a lot of things wrong in planning the community, put a lot of the wrong kinds of trees. The building quality wasn't great, but one thing that they got right, I think, is the signage, because when you go up and down Mission Blue, you see the sign, and what it evokes is that this is a place that is well taken care of, that there's a community there, there's something to explore. I've had friends, when they visit me for the first time, will take a photo of that and send it to me and say, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. And so our idea is, this type of sign is not necessarily right for the entrance to a city, but the quality, the attention to it is something that we like and admire. Next slide. So one of the things as we began discussing it that we realized, you guys chime in if you want to add anything, was we wanted to come up with at least a concrete idea, because as we socialize this idea, the city of Brisbane should have a welcome sign. It's hard when you just ask people to rely on their own imagination. People might not know exactly what you think. They might imagine something of poor quality. They might imagine something that's not in keeping with Brisbane's character. So Lisa, our artist, drew up a draft so that we could, in part, also begin to show this to sign makers. Because another question we got from a lot of people is, how much would this thing cost? And we were unable to come up with a sense of what the cost would look like unless we had an actual visual representation with size and dimensions and all of that. So this was, I think Lisa would agree, this was meant to just be suggestive of what could be there. I think, especially if artists or artists are involved, there are a lot of beautiful, wonderful things you could think of. You can think of more old-fashioned painted items. You could think of some things that are modern and contemporary. If you do searches on the internet for monument signs, you see a lot of really pretty, nice-looking things that sort of fit well with where they're placed. So we did this mock-up, and you can go to the next slide. We then, I reached out to a handful of sort of independent Bay Area sign makers to just engage them and get a sense of, like, if we were to make this exact thing 6 feet by 9 feet on the left, what would it look like? And we got a couple of quotes. They were less than I at least expected. I thought this would be a far more expensive project. Obviously, things like installation, shipping, design prep is separate. The Lions Club, which I'm part of, has agreed to do all the manual labor for this. And obviously the Lions Club is supportive of this. We do a lot of events in Brisbane, and the amount of money that we make is dependent on how many people attend. And for things like barbecues or events, the more people we can get from outside Brisbane, the better off we are. So all the leadership as part of the Lions Club really likes this idea of beginning to just sort of brand the city. Businesses, I think in particular, would benefit. The businesses in Brisbane, I think, have some amount of repeat business from people within Brisbane, but they're all dependent on new people discovering what they have offered. Think about the leather shop or the new market. Literally any business along Visitation would benefit from more people exploring. My mom owned stores when I was a kid, and it's all about foot traffic. The more you can get, the better off you'll be. You have the opportunity to have new people coming in saying, oh, this is kind of a neat place, benefits for all. So there are lots of different ways you can make it, but this just gives you a sense of, once you're all said and done, what it would look like. And one of the design makers suggested high density urethane foam, which is, I don't know a lot about materials, Sue probably knows more, but
Over my head.
yeah. But in any event, that's what these mock-ups were designed around. And obviously having them painted would be something that the sign maker could do, or whoever did the design, if it turns out to be the case, could do that as well. Next slide. One of the things we wanted to address is, as we were discussing it, some of the arguments that we have heard from people who, for whatever reason, don't feel it makes sense, and how we respond to those kinds of comments. So one piece of feedback we've gotten is that eventually Brisbane might develop something in the entranceway to the city that's different. We've heard that high-speed rail might affect the entranceway to the city, that the entire entry to the city might be reimagined at some point, all of which would be wonderful. I think our view is that's fine, but we don't think that should preclude doing something now in that space, with the idea that if you want to relocate that sign, or if it no longer makes sense to have that specific sign, we can address that down the road. But we really don't want to not do something now, just for the reason that something may change in the city in 5 to 10 years, which I think in my mind is really the earliest anything might happen, with regard to those projects. I've heard this argument that it's better if Brisbane remains hidden. I find that argument a little xenophobic. I don't really buy it. I think it's kind of, I don't know if people who live in Brisbane today still feel that way. The Bay Area communities sort of depend on people traveling in and amongst them, and I think we should invite people to explore. When people actually do come in and see how the community park, or they see the concerts in the park, they really love it. A lot of people discover Brisbane serendipitously, and then later, they might become a homeowner and decide to put up roots. Similarly, with argument one around the high-speed rail, that may change, that may affect the entrance to the city. Who knows? There's a lot of legality around that. But again, that's far off in the future. And then the argument the city has no money for this, I don't necessarily think that's the case. And in any event, I think the amount of money it would take would be far less than people imagine. So after we put this presentation together, and I think it's pretty much the last slide, we met with Clay. We talked, we didn't canvas around a lot to talk to people to kind of sell them on the idea, but we did socialize this, and everybody we talked to basically said, yeah, I think that's a great idea. We didn't really hear anybody saying that they thought that this wouldn't make sense. So we met with Clay maybe 6 to 9 months ago, and he said, I think this is great. He's, as speaking on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, he said the Chamber of Commerce obviously would like it just because of the relevance to businesses. But he said, give me some time to figure out the right way to advance it. And then he came back and said, I think it would make sense if you presented it to the Arts Committee with the idea that they might be able to pick it up and kind of take it to the next step. And you guys know your processes better than I do, but that it could be a really beautiful piece of art that not only serves all these functional purposes, but also, sends the message to people passing by that, this is a place that welcomes artistic expression. It would be really cool. So I understand that in this meeting, there isn't discussion about it because it's not an agenda. But really just wanted to come here, share this vision for it, and hope that you guys pick it up in the future.
Thank you.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I would just like to add something.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to add something?
Absolutely.
Although this is a wonderful idea and wonderful artist, it doesn't have to be what we present. We
No.
understand that everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants their hand in something. This artist was, what about my idea? Bring it on. Let's not stomp on something before we even get it out there and get some people saying, okay, let's talk about this. We like this idea, but your design stinks.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get some other designs. It could be a contest. The other thing I want to say is that we did this out of love of Brisbane. We did it never intending to undermine anyone's power, anyone's sense of who they are in this town. We came up with this as what we saw as a need. Got tired of looking at that metal sign. Okay, well, you can't rely on somebody else to. Public Works, come up and give us a sign. Well, why don't we look into it and do all the background work for you? This is what it's gonna cost. And give you information. So that you're a step ahead of the game, if you can look at it.
So while we can't
Yeah.
make a comment on that, I think it's important maybe to understand how this process would work. So if
Yep.
the committee chooses, we could have this agendized for discussion. You're more than welcome to come back.
Sure.
At that point too. And then the committee would determine whether they felt like they wanted to move forward with a sign of some sort. We happen to be meeting with consultants that are helping us with a public art master plan.
Right.
And they're helping the committee come up with the vision of what's kind of our brand.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of timely.
Love it.
Also, I don't know if the committee knows this, but we're in a place, we have an understanding with High Speed Rail. So this parcel is gonna be not touched. So it's actually in a place where something could happen now because we don't have to worry about that parcel being taken from the state, by the state and or not it being taken, but the entrance to town being reworked. So the entrance to town is at this point staying how it is.
Mhm.
And so then if the committee decided they wanted to move forward, they would establish a budget and then it would have to go to an RFP, which is a request for a proposal. So that it would go out to the art community and anybody who wanted, even people who weren't artists per se in that field, anybody could submit a proposal. And then we would review all of the different options and then that's how it would go. So it may not, you could submit this.
Yeah.
At that time, but that's probably how it works. So I don't know if that's.
And I just want to add that place was one of the places that is considered a space for public art.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that is one of the places that has been designated.
And I also remember when the consultants were putting out their list of things that they saw possible art projects. I remember one of them was place signage.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think it fits right in.
But I just, yeah.
Not
I just-
discussing it further, but I think that I think if we could pick this up and this is a good place for
Why
it.
don't we put it on our agenda for the next meeting to begin discussion or maybe after we have our next meeting with NINDOT.
NINDOT.
Let's put it on after that, because they're gonna be here in July.
Or with that,
With
that.
them,
Yeah,
yeah,
with
with
them.
them, yeah.
Because I think
in
it would be
July.
important for them to
Yeah.
kind of weigh in.
Would you want us to present again or
don't
just
think
you guys?
so.
But you're welcome to come and hear the discussion,
Okay.
is what we're saying, yeah.
Got it.
Well, it'll be agendized as a front of town with this information, along with what we're gonna be discussing, and you may wanna come in and hear the discussion. Which will be
Thank you very much.
rather broad.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for caring.
Appreciate you
That's great.
coming.
Thanks for this committee. I love.
Yes.
I saw the scooter when I was walking in. I was like,
that's
me.
Good for you. Save the environment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I hope
So-
it didn't step on anyone's toes.
No, I
explained the process.
No, I think
it's
I
really
think-
helpful.
I
Yeah, it's
No.
actually very helpful.
curious
And
about
whether
that.
or not we actually had to go out for an RFP.
It
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
it does, and I think.
I thought it did.
And I think that was good to clarify because a lot of people don't know the process. for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
We don't even have it in.
But do we get to decide if it goes to the local artist or the regional artist
You
or
can
the state?
refine that within the RFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, however the committee wants to present it.
But I guess,
I think that's, I think it'd be cool to open it up, you know.
And then, I mean, based on the budget, yeah, you determine.
I guess we're actually going to talk to.
So anyhow, okay.
Thanks.
Okay, and then we have committee discussion item C, committee reorganization discussion.
So, Mayor Pro Tem Cunningham and Recreation Commissioner Sewell are not here. So we're again short, but I know that they've both given support for you to to stay on if you want to, because I don't think anybody else was quite ready, but.
Or willing. Camille, you don't want to switch? Where we just switch, you know,
1 year?
just 1 year. It's gonna be an exciting year.
Oh, yes.
I
Okay.
mean, I think ultimately, like Karen and I would be willing to do it.
But
I
I
just,
think
we
it's
never
the way.
felt like we wanted those.
Switch.
That
Unless-
makes sense. Just switch.
Do you want to take the position?
Oh,
well, there you go.
I
okay.
mean, I don't know what you're saying, like, nobody's.
Danielle, would you like
But
the
like, There
position?
wasn't any conversation about
Right,
it.
right.
Oh, no, thank you.
Before, there was always like lap arm twisting. But
Are you interested in?
You should do it.
you should do
Yeah,
it.
you should totally do it.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay,
Really.
it's just running the meeting. It's not,
know.
it's not
Yeah,
that.
I'm
big
Yeah.
of a deal.
You want to stay on as, do you want to be vice chair then? Lisa?
Sure, I'll stay on as vice chair and pass on to you as chair.
Okay.
And
That
then
seems to be like a good.
and it seems to be a good way, because then if you can't make it for
It's
some reason.
kind of backwards,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, it still works.
No, I like it.
The chair becomes the vice chair.
Yeah.
The old chair becomes a little bit backwards, but it works.
No, it works. I think it
Thank
works
you.
because then she feels like she has support. You know, if for some reason you can't.
And
be
that's how you did it.
just
You
step
guys
on it.
did
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I didn't really want to do it, but I felt Camille said, you'll have my support. I'll be here, you know, if you can do it, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, I have support. And so that's kind of what it is. It's just a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, do we vote?
Perfect.
Yeah, we need I have a move.
Okay.
I move that we place Diane in the chair position and Lisa in the vice chair position.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Wonderful.
That having been said, I'm not gonna be here next month.
I'll just step in. But I'll just step in. It's fine. It's
I'm
fine.
gonna be at a,
This was a surprise, you know?
I'm gonna be at a boat near Iceland.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
really?
Yeah.
That's very
I
cool.
know, I know.
Summer. How fun.
Horrible, but
Um,
yes.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't get any roses.
Well, and thank you, Lisa, for doing the helm for
Yes.
a while.
All right.
Thank you. I
Appreciate
mean, it
it.
was a learning curve and I feel like it wasn't as hard as I thought it was.
We have good staff.
And working.
We have very good stuff and good support. We're all here to support each other. I felt very supported. It was not a big deal. Okay, item D, prioritize the location for the next plug installment from Plug Preserve Relocation Project. Hydrant restoration event is coming up in August.
So the last time we had this on our agenda, the committee determined which hydrants from the plug preserve would be relocated to specific locations at the community park and the quarry park and outside here at City Hall. So we're excited to announce that we went ahead with the installation outside of City Hall. Thank you to Lisa for designing.
Oh, so nice. Did you see it?
Yeah, I just saw it.
It's
So nice.
wonderful.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
But that definitely kickstarted the
Time to
project
move.
and
Yeah.
time to get going on the other one. So I just wanted to put it out to the committee if there's a preference in terms of prioritization, whether the next installation happens at the community park
Yes.
or at Quarry Park? Do we want to ensure that we have that all done in time for the restoration event later this summer? If so.
I think that's a good idea, because it's kind of an ad, a pre-ad, and if we're gonna use it as an advertisement, then I would think the park.
Well,
Yeah,
also like
definitely.
the park has generally been a place where people have come to pick up paints.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So you could have the paints, you could set up a table
By
like
the hydrants.
near there.
But those hydrants are gonna need work, right? These are kind of, no?
Well, they might be
might,
up,
some of
like
them might.
people might be able to paint them
That's what
then.
I'm thinking. They could paint them then
But like-
in place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that, cause that's where we intended to put the rock, right?
Yes,
So I feel like that's the one that should go in next.
okay,
Yes, agreed.
And then the others we can just kind of put in.
Yeah.
And are you talking about having like an event for that?
No.
Or just putting them?
no,
Just having
Okay,
public
yeah.
works do it.
What,
Yeah, we
they
had
just
Mike
need to know their
do it.
marching orders.
Yes.
It's like, okay, we're doing this,
Yeah.
we're
We
gonna
should
do
talk
them
about the
all.
orientation though, I think is important, because Public Works will just go throw them out there, I think. Or do we want the hydrants facing the street? Do we want the hydrants facing the park?
Oh, this, both?
I can't hear you.
Could we have both? Like,
Yeah,
Multi-directional
Yeah.
from wherever they're sitting. Well, they don't really, I mean, do they have fronts and backs or?
They
kind of-
do,
Well,
they have
some do.
faces.
Well,
Oh,
They have
yeah,
faces.
yeah,
What we can
sure.
do- Yeah, if there's a strong preference, what we can do is similar to the process that we did out here, is we had Mike Glenn come and he did all the anchoring work and the kind of base. And then he put those in and then they dropped the hydrants on, and before they bolted them down, they said, is this the direction you want the hydrants to face? So, I mean,
Oh,
if you,
perfect.
we can kind of do a couple of variations of placement and then put it out to the group
Yeah.
and see if there's a preference.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, take photographs and just email or something?
Yeah, before they're officially anchored in place.
Or if we know the day that they're gonna be wanting to anchor.
Then we
if
can
whoever's
just say,
available,
yeah.
hopefully we can
Yeah.
try to work it out.
Yeah,
Okay, so community park was the first one?
yep.
Okay.
Okay. That works for me.
Okay, are we ready to move on to E? Receive an update on the public art master plan survey and discuss public outreach ideas for when the consultants visit late July.
Feed them.
So we've been publicizing and pushing out the information about the survey everywhere we possibly can. I checked before I came into this meeting, so we received 96 responses so far,
Great.
which is great. The survey will stay open and. Oh, what was that? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we will keep it open until July 19th, so we have a little bit more time, but we'll continue to promote.
Can we do something like, I know, was it on the sign in front of town?
Mhm.
And I think we just need to keep blasting
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, like blast.
How many
blast,
responses do we
blast.
have on that? From the survey?
96.
96. Yeah. So that, because if we have basically 45, oh, that's also in counting children, but let's say there's how many, you would want 96, I'd like more than 96.
Yes, I would like
I'd
more than
close to
96.
1,000.
Yes.
Well, there's still almost like a month.
Right.
I feel like
Yes.
it's
And I didn't fill one out, so I wouldn't be.
And we
tempted,
could,
'cause I already did mine.
kind of impress, it's always when you get to the end, like people, hey, it's gonna end,
Mhm, Right.
people
The
might
deadline.
be.
I'm wondering if
More
we should maybe, during the, I don't know what if there's any events coming up
Yeah.
before they get here, that we could have like a table with it there for them to pick up the forms and fill out then.
We
We've done
have,
that at the farmer's
You have?
market. We've done
Okay.
it at
Oh,
the
good.
evening of sharing. We had a signboard at BDW
Oh, did
performance.
you?
Yeah, It was in your program.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw it in the program. I thought
Yeah.
it was a table. I was like, oh my God, I didn't. know that.
Yeah.
Of course, I never go out behind the stage anyway, so.
Like onto the Residents of Brisbane page with a link to the.
I believe so.
Okay, 'cause I haven't
It's on the
seen that.
blast, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
One in the
Not on the
Star,
blast.
Star News.
Oh, I
it's in the
Air.
luminary, I
Okay.
think.
It was dropped.
Yeah, there
off
was a
at the
whole article in the
Sunrise
luminary.
and
Dropped
the
off.
Okay, well, we're getting it out there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Just in case someone says anything, I can
Yeah.
now say, oh, it was even in
It
the
was in the
program.
school newsletter.
It's in as many places
That's
as you
right,
could
each
possibly
school
see it, and
newsletter,
I'm
right?
sorry if you're still missing it.
Mhm.
I mean, I saw, the
That
only
always
reason-
happens.
The only reason that I.
Yeah, but I just-
Sent out an email,
Yes, I asked her
and I,
to.
yes, and I, that's where I picked it up and
Yeah.
filled it out.
Okay.
Great, okay, cool.
Actually, I was just really, I wanted to go through it to make sure everything was like working.
That's
So if personally, all of us can just kind of reach out to our little group of friends and
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
we really need everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known people who filled it out that I don't see like engaging with a lot of city stuff, so I think that's a good sign.
Oh,
More
that's great.
interesting about
So,
artwork and stuff.
Yeah, and they had it like physically and they were gonna go drop it off at City Hall, so it's like, oh, that's good. I think my mom will do it. I'll make sure she does it.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done hard copies at the Sunrise Room, in the senior meals, at the pool.
Oh my God, this is
Library.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
library, yep.
They didn't fill it out, it's not because they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Things do get glossed over though.
Yeah.
We'll
I
send
mean,
reminders.
Saying just reminders, it's about listen, I understand.
Yeah, you haven't done it yet. Okay.
Marketing.
We'll
and
continue to
time.
send reminders. So that'll close on the 19th. And then the consultants will be here July 25th, 26th, and 27th. We'll have them out at the farmer's market on the 25th. The evening of the 26th, we have the concert in the park. They will be out there for that.
Oh, great.
And then also the following day is the citywide yard sale, so we were gonna have them do a
Right.
tent at the park. But I know that they were kind of wanting to do some type of community engagement project, create an art piece that kind of brings everybody together through that process. So if you have any ideas, feel free to send them to Angel or I as we
I'm
meet
sure
with the
they have
consultants.
so. many
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah.
It's their, yeah,
Their
it's
bread
what
and
they
butter.
do.
Yeah, yes. And we did include a contingency in the budget for city council when they approved the contract for 9 So we budgeted an additional $15,000 for community engagement efforts if we wanted to do a
Yeah.
community art piece through this project process. So that's some funding there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, yeah, the Thursday and Friday night will be mostly tabling. The
Mhm.
farmer's market, and
Yeah.
then the evening, the music, it's kind of busy, but,
What
all
day is
day,
that?
and then all day,
Which
What?
one?
What day
26th,
is the-
27th, 28th.
Are we needing to sync up on that?
On the concert?
Is that the big concert?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's not. You mean like the Pride and Joy one?
Yeah.
No, it's Native Elements that night.
Oh, okay, so
But
it'll
we
probably
could
be more
definitely
Brisbane.
Yeah.
It'll
Pride
be
and
more
Joy is gonna be-
Brisbane people.
Mhm.
We could tend to be
So-
some Pride and Joy then.
But then the 28th, is, an all-day event for the,
Right.
at least
Yeah.
9 to 3 or whatever,
Yeah.
10 to 3. So they could do some sort of activity or.
Cool.
I'm sure they have ideas for that.
Big bubbles for the kids. Okay, all right, so yeah, any ideas that you guys have? feel free
Send them
to,
our way. Yep.
Send them to us.
Okay, and item F, discuss the Firth Park project and whether to move forward with an RFP. Council awarded contract to conduct site prep work and restoration, which needs to happen.
Yeah.
But do we have a plan for that?
Yes, so we have Carmel lined up to do
Okay,
the
yeah.
restoration work. Council
Yeah.
approved the budget for that. So hopefully within the next month or so, she'll have completed that work.
Yay.
And I know that the phase 2 of that was kind of establishing an RFP and then soliciting an artist to kind of re-envision those two pieces. So
We're talking the helix and the turtle.
correct, yes, yes. So at some point, we'll need to draft an RFP and have the committee review, establish a not to exceed budget amount, and then determine how we want to
Yes.
solicit artists through that process.
Right.
Council will go on recess. They'll need to approve the RFP, so we need to keep that timeline in mind as well.
When is recess?
July 18th is our last meeting.
Okay.
Until
And then
September.
Yeah,
Mhm.
August is out, okay.
But it takes probably staff a good month to actually kind of pull the RFP together to even then get your approval. So then if we even went back in September, we could probably get it out by October or
I
something.
would, and yeah, and then
Yeah, it's not
depending
like,
on weather or whatever.
Yeah.
It's, takes time.
Yeah, and getting those things repaired correctly is gonna take time. They need to cure.
Well, I think that's what's happening right
what's happening
now,
right now.
before that, the RFP
so
goes
are
out.
you looking for us to say, yes, we want an RFP and a budget
Yeah,
right now? Is that what you're looking for now?
Well, we could bring that to the next meeting. So if there's anything I could just bring a draft RFP. But
Don't you
we
need
could
to have
start-
budget in there?
Or it could be discussed at that next meeting,
Okay.
unless.
yeah,
You wanna think about it, you guys?
How do you,
Right now?
how do you figure an RFP?
well, the RFP is one thing, but how do we figure out a budget for
Yeah.
something on that?
This is
That
our
it's not like they're
problem.
creating, well, the artist would be creating something, but they're not creating the entire structure. They're creating a design or implementing an idea on a,
Existing.
An
This is something I feel like
existing
our
thing.
consultants need to help us, like, I think that's like been a struggle because.
yeah,
we have
and I
no
would, I
idea
would
how
like to
figure that
know
out.
what that is. I mean, I think we can maybe call people, but maybe when we see them in July, I agree with you. That could be one of the questions our consultants can help us get a better sense about. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have an objective outside
Mhm.
opinion and not only that, but someone who's had that experience.
Yeah.
Also,
in many
can
ways.
can I say as an artist, different art is gonna cost different.
Different amounts of
Right.
money,
If,
right?
if somebody comes in and does a photorealistic rendering of a heron on the helix, it's gonna cost more than just painting it red or.
Or a mosaic
that
artist is
was-
significantly more.
Right,
Exactly,
So what we're looking for, and I'm sorry if this, my brain is fuzzy at the moment. But we're looking to basically keep the turtle and the helix
yes.
at, like, as the base structure.
Mhm.
And then have someone create something on top of
Yes,
that.
yes.
whether or not it's mosaic, as you said, I didn't even think about that, but that could be
Painted,
cool.
because it's gonna be
Or
sandblasted
just
In
paint,
between, So it'll be,
or just paint, or, yeah.
Maybe that's something,
Creative
you know, that's,
Well,
when we think about it, it may be that it's our duty to decide that we're gonna go for mosaics or we're gonna go for it.
Decide the perimeters.
Yes,
but an RFP can have a range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the budget. So
absolutely.
that it doesn't have to be like, okay, we only have X amount and you're gonna have to fit, and it's like, and then that becomes part of evaluating the artist's proposal, is like, what are they doing for the money that they're proposing?
And are we
Right.
looking at the helix as one project and then?
I
and
think
then
so.
saying add the turtle as another project? Are we looking for one artist to do both?
Well, that's a good question, and it may be that one artist does both because there's two RFPs. Do you know what I mean? And and we decide that we want one artist doing both.
Oh, we are gonna do two RFPs.
I
Well,
think
that's what
we're
you're discussing.
doing two
That-
RFPs.
I would think we would
I
do
would
two.
do two
RFPs.
I think it would be, I think that would be kind of nice. actually.
Yeah, different
Yeah,
art.
Well,
different
another thing-
artists.
The other thing here too is like we've talked about some level of barrier around the
But
park.
that's another project.
I know,
Okay.
but when we talked about the,
Fine.
so let's say we wanted to say, we might say, oh, well, we really want a mosaic. Where it says Firth Park, because we want to place that sort of piece and maybe we save like a mosaic budget for the signage element.
Mhm.
And then we're looking, because if you said
Right,
we
I
might
can
want to
see that,
decide
but,
we want
you
to do
know, we
mosaic. or
have
not.
to wait when the artist comes in, we may look at these pieces and say, oh my God, I know we were thinking of this, but this is a great piece.
Didn't you
Okay, so
just
let's
say
not-
that?
No, I'm just saying, if we wanted to, we could. What I'm saying is, let's wait.
Just keep it open ended?
And keep it open,
That's fine.
yeah.
Okay, well, I was just
No,
responding to
no,
what you said.
No, I was saying if we could do that, if that was something, but
Or
if
to
we
see
do
what
it
comes
right,
back.
yeah.
Mhm.
See, because what we found from the skate park is we set it like a budget, right? Let's say it was like, what was it, 50,000, 25,000? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And we only got murals. And so
Right.
we realized, oh, that probably means that that's not enough
For
to do a
mural.
mosaic.
Absolutely.
Because we
Not-
didn't get any other
No.
kind of,
Not really?
not a
Yeah, but
single
not
other
all the
kind.
time. No.
No
really,
way.
Absolutely not. What do you think those stairs in the city cost in San Francisco?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I've never done, I mean, I've done mosaics before, but not crazy mosaics, big ones, but
But
I've seen some really, I've been taking pictures of some beautiful mosaics in parks around that, don't necessarily have glass, they have stones.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use all
No,
different
right,
kinds of
you can-
materials.
well, that depends on how, but it is.
Recycled
different size,
materials.
Yeah. So I don't know. That is a good question if we want to. I don't know.
We also have to just remember too that both these pieces will be climbed.
That's what I'm saying, they're-
They don't have any sharp edges.
Yeah,
Right, you see,
Yeah,
that's
that
gonna
is
limit-
why maybe not the mosaic.
But also if it's something that's painted, then it's gotta be really sealed up real good.
Well, that's, an artist should know that, and if they don't know that, that's they're wrong.
Yeah, yeah, mural paint is rigor and then it's all, yeah. Which, when I painted the hydrant out there, I went to a mural paint store. I
Yeah,
got the lowdown on what worked best, and then he gave me a sealant in a can but after, whoever's doing this should know what they're
But you know
doing. They
this,
should-
yeah.
did we get the mural over there restored?
There were still,
Cause I went over there the other day and I was like, why is it still patchy?
It was restored, but we know that it's patchy. We contacted the artist that did
Which mural?
the coating, protective coating.
Kimonos,
Um,
at
the
Oh,
butterfly.
at the grocery store.
Midtown Market.
I went into close-up photos of it the other day
Yeah.
and I was like, why did,
So,
We're on it.
yeah, we're on it. We're.
okay.
Because they're having that with a couple of our other paintings as well, murals at other locations as well, and they're trying to figure out. If
Maybe it's something in the product
in the
defect.
product, they said there was a change, would they say 2004, 2008, there's some possible production change in the paints. They're wondering if it's that, because they haven't had that problem in the past. 'Cause
They just
but
touched it on it.
they took account of like the 100% sunbeam on all the time. They're like, that was fully covered. I mean, we put so.
But they already
many
restored it
layers.
too. Yeah.
I don't know, okay.
So they're
We'll talk
working on
about
it.
it. Yeah.
They're-
Just wondering.
Who's working on it?
The people who do
Who
the
did
seal,
it.
who Mona works specifically
Yeah.
with.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they know her, her paint.
In other words, it's being paid attention to.
But I think
Okay.
But I think all of the projects that we're discussing, which is great about this committee, is that RFPs, hopefully, with a good consultant, will bring out some varied ideas of what artists could possibly think about to do on these
Absolutely.
things. And that's the exciting process. Let's not get pegged into thinking we only want one or something. It might be something we've never even thought about. And
Absolutely.
that's
That's what
why
you always say.
That's what I'm always say, yeah.
that's a creative
That's what
process and we
makes it fun.
shouldn't be afraid of it and we should embrace it.
All right, you guys are agreeing to do two RFPs, one for each piece.
Yes.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
Okay.
And open-ended. And then we will, and what we're also saying is that when 9 is here, they will help us with the understanding of what that budget might
Might look.
look like.
Are they gonna be anchored? Because I feel like at some point I was a kid and went and climbed on that helix and it was like wiggly. And I was like, oh.
It's pretty, it's anchored.
It's pretty anchored.
It's
The
anchored.
turtle you can move.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the turtle.
The turtle you can
Very
pick up.
heavy.
Okay, I knew one of them was like.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
no.
helix fin is, yeah,
The helix is,
I'm sure it needs repair
And-
What's the
now.
history about those two pieces? How did they show up there?
to,
They were there when you would have. to
They've
ask
been
them.
here since I've been here.
Yeah.
I've been here too, so.
They just showed up on the scene.
Yeah, I don't have the history on them. I have there was an old photo that I saw, I think from the 40s. And the helix was in the picture.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
40s.
And that thing
Held up
is,
pretty
that
well,
thing
though.
is, no, it's old cement and it really.
Well, I
needs to
know,
be-
but for being almost 100 years old.
Oh, my God.
It's so such
80 years
I mean, it's so interesting because biotech is like such a big deal now in our area, but and no, we don't know about the turtle.
That's the bunkers. No.
When I was looking at this project, when I wasn't on this
Maybe my
committee,
mom
when a long time ago, when we were just gonna try and stabilize these things, and they asked me to do it, which I'm not doing it, but I looked at the two things and the helix worries me as far as stability goes.
Yeah.
But I think it can be repaired. The turtle is a turtle. And I sort of said, this is already a
Random.
well, I know, this is already a thing. It's, the helix could be anything, but the turtle is a turtle, and it was sort of like, okay, I have to remember that this is a turtle.
Mhm.
I can't just, I mean, for me, it was like, if I came in and I just painted the turtle like a scene of, the Revolutionary War or something on his back, that kind of doesn't, I thought about it, it's like, no, he's a turtle and kids are gonna climb on it.
Yeah.
It should be a fun turtle. So that was my thought process, but every artist is gonna come
Right,
with their
one
own
day we
vision.
have to wait and see, because they may come up with
Yeah.
something that you would say,
Never thought
oh
of
my
it."
God.
Yeah.
Never occurred to
Do you
me.
know,
This
I
is
feel
it.
like that turtle is actually the perfect piece for Siren. Remember he came and he was made,
A mural.
he did a proposal for the skate park and we ended
Oh.
up going with him.
You did
And
the Blue
he-
Bears?
Yeah, he's definitely way more cartoony and way
Yeah.
more like
Well, these are for
appeals to
kids.
juvenile aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I was like, and a lot of people on our committee really loved him, and I was like, I just don't feel like this is the place, but I feel like that turtle
Mhm.
is
Oh,
gonna
might
be
be
very
enough.
much.
It's not big enough for what
well,
he
then
does.
let's make sure he knows.
No, well, you never know, he might want to.
You never know. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, even the
Inkwell.
Inkwell, I mean, her stuff is beautiful too. I mean.
Yeah.
it-
She also does pretty large.
And whoever did these, I mean,
Mhm.
this kind of fun,
It's a great.
so, yeah, we'll just,
Okay,
let's
just
see what
a-
happens.
Yeah, what happens.
Right.
So we'll consult with them about a price with a price.
With that, with the.
With our consultant.
Yes, with our.
And
consultant.
send out an
How that
RFP and then
process
how,
goes. And then.
Yeah.
We throw it out, throw the net out.
launch it out there.
Okay.
We get.
Well, if we wait for our consultants, then we're definitely not making July 18th for an RFP approval to.
No, we can do the RFP and they can review it. We're also, when they're here. Oh, I see, they're not gonna be here on the.
Budget.
Yeah,
ninth.
we can't
July.
finish.
I see what you're saying.
Well, maybe you guys can just have like can ask them like, how do you guys,
With our, just do a little FaceTime?
just
Yeah.
how do you guys like, we're stumped in this area, the committee would like, I mean, we have a 15,000 not to exceed, so if they need to bill us a few more hours,
Mhm.
but it'd just be great, and then you can deliver that back to us.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just ask them like how they handle that. They
Okay.
know. They know.
I think that's why we
And
hired them.
also, I think like at this point, we're getting towards like winter, and so I see this, but because these are movable, right? Maybe someone can just take them to their studio.
Yeah, they
They
could.
don't have to be painted on site. They're
That's
light
true.
enough,
That's
right?
true, I painted the fire hydrant in my garage, so.
It
And
would
that
be
would be something
nice
we'd want to
to,
put in the RFP then too, is these are pieces that are movable. If
which
we
then
prefer
the helix,
I don't know about the
Heavy,
helix.
I don't know, they're
The
really
helix
heavy.
is fragile.
Oh, fragile.
Well, no, I mean, it doesn't, heavy is not, I'm not worried about heavy, I'm worried about breakage.
Yeah.
see, I think because then it lends itself to being a local artist
Mhm.
versus like when we have the butterflies, right? She made them all in her studio and she just shipped them here.
Right, right.
But like if it's painted, it's
Well,
probably
and-
gonna
and
happen
it-
that
Yeah, local, or it may be someone who's like, I'm gonna be there for a while. That's okay.
Yeah.
Once
Right.
again.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it may
Yeah.
shake out that it is a local, ends up being a local person.
Yeah. Yep, you never
May
know.
not be
Okay.
easy to move.
Well, we can bring those considerations back for
Yes,
the next
exactly.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
So speaking of next meeting.
Public comment, oh, public
Oh,
comment.
public comment.
Oh, yeah.
We have a second public comment opportunity at this point. Do we have any public comment?
Don't have anybody.
We have no
here.
public.
Let me
Just in case.
check my email. I don't have any new emails regarding public art or comments, and I didn't receive any. Okay. Close the public comment. So for July, we cannot do July 15th.
Okay.
Which would be our usual every third Monday. And then the consultants are here on the 25th, 26th, 27th. Is there, do you want to?
Are you saying we should have our meeting when they're here?
No, because that's a
That's
Thursday. But we could do it, on a Monday or,
Wait,
and don't know if you guys want to do anything. Do you
The 22nd
wanna-
and the 29th is good for me.
They're good for me too.
I'm sorry, what day?
22nd and
29th are
29th.
both Mondays.
Okay,
I
I
might
mean,
be able to do the 29th.
you might be back. In which case we could talk about how it went with the consultants.
29.
Or I would at least be in a place where I could call in.
How's the 29th look for people?
That seems
Good.
fine.
So I want that's it's Monday. Okay. Oh. Yes. I don't leave yet. I leave on the 31st.
Okay, all right.
Okay, July 29th. So there was another part to the meeting is the time. So we do have a couple people. There's someone who would like to see if we can maybe shift it a half hour to 5 PM because they're having a hard time with their full-time job during the day coming
Sounds good.
I think that's
on
good.
That's
time.
fine.
That works
That's
for
fine.
me. I guess
5:30.
staff is the ones that,
But we.
is that okay?
We're at your mercy.
Is that okay with you, Danielle? If we shift to 5 and we'll see if that helps resolve?
Going forward?
Yeah, starting July 29.
Okay.
I'll send out a, they'll need to cancel the one on the
15th?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, let's do the 5 PM and see if that works. I mean, the person could technically maybe just sort of listen in on the way into possibly. So, let's try that.
Okay.
Going forward, wonderful.
Oh, going forward, I like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that would work better for me too.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else? Anyone else want to bring up or?